Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Ration formulation or feed formulation. The ration formulation is basically a technique to quantify different feedstuffs so that when they are mixed together, they would be able to fulfill the nutrient requirement of an animal. For doing so, you need two main things. The one is you must know about the nutrient requirement of an individual animal for ration formulation, and the second, you must know about the type of feedstuff available and their chemical composition. So these are the two prerequisites for more detailed ration formulation. Uh, Now come to the methods. There are four main methods which are commonly used for ration formulation, and they are available in different type of books. The first one is the Pearson's Care method. The second one is algebraic equation, trial and error is the third, and fourth one is computer feed formulation software. Here we will discuss only the Pearson's Care method. So in Pearson's Care method, we can only balance one nutrient at a time. If you would like to balance energy, protein, calcium, phosphorus, so that could not be possible through Pearson's Care method. This is the major limitation of this. And the second one is we can easily calculate the quantity of feedstuff if we use only two feedstuff. But when we have more than two feedstuff, then definitely we will have to do a lot of calculations, and that makes the process little lengthy. So keeping in mind these two things, we will start with the two by using two feedstuff ration formulation. I have mentioned that we can only balance one nutrient at a time. So if you look at this uh, for Pearson's Care method, you have to first draw a scale, then put the required uh, unit or quantity inside or the center of the circle. Like here in this example, we would like to balance a ration that contains 12% crude protein, and this is our main objective. Uh, Next, go to the next step. So then you have to write down the available feed stuff either on the right side or on the left side of the scale. Here we put on the left side of the scale the first ingredient that is being used for ration formulation, that is corn grain, and the second one is soybean meal. Here you have to write the ingredient name along with their protein content, because in the center of the scale we put protein value that is required. So corn contain 8.9% protein, soybean meal 45.8% crude protein. So here again you will have to follow the one limitation, that one ingredient should have a protein value less than the required amount, and the other ingredient should have more protein than the required amount. So next step you have to go for calculations. Now subtract the protein value, required protein value from the ingredient protein value in a diagonal way. Diagonal way means you have to subtract this 8.9 minus 12 and come over here for putting the answer. So 12 is the required value, 8.9 is the ingredient value, we get value 3.1. Then from the soybean meal protein value, subtract the required amount and get the value over here on the top right corner of the scale. So 45.8 minus 12 is equal to 33.8. So you can subtract any in any way. Either you can subtract 12 minus 45.8, or you can subtract from the ingredient value and from the required value. So if you have a negative sign over here, so that do not have any worth in this calculation. So just ignore that negative value. Now come with the answer. So 8.9 minus 12 is equal to 3.5. Then 45.8 minus 12 is equal to 33.8. The value here we get that we get after subtracting the protein value from the required value. So that protein value is of soybean meal, but we have to consider this value for corn, not for soybean meal. So the answer over here is uh, basically indicates the amount of corn And similarly, here we subtract 8.9 minus 12 and we get 3.1. So this 3.1 is the part of soybean meal. Now you have to sum up these two values and we get a total of 36.9 total parts. So this is all. Uh, just to explain this, if we mix 33.8 part of corn, 3.1 part of soybean meal, we get a ration with 36.9 parts in total. So that 36.9 parts will provide this 12% protein. So if you give this total amount, then we have this 12% of the protein. So keep in mind, percent mean out of 100. So if you go to analyze a sample of this, you will not get a value of 12%. Like if you get a sample of 10 gram from this and you analyze it, that will not have a 12% protein because this is not converted into total part. So this will make a difficult situation when you are going to refer for ration formulation, or you refer to a farmer use this amount of soybean meal, this amount of corn that will give you 12% protein. So the better way is to convert it into 100 parts. So we can convert it because the total is 36.9. So out of 36.9, there are 33.8 parts of corn, right? So out of 36.9, 33.8 parts of corn. So what should be the amount of corn out of 100 parts? So here we go. 33.8 divided by 36.9 multiplied by 100, we get a value of 92. The similar can be done for soybean meal. So after this conversion, we have 92 parts of corn and 8 parts of soybean meal. That will give us a 100 parts. So now if you take any amount of sample from that 100 parts, you always get 12% of the protein value. Now for just confirmation, we have corn and soybean meal. Here is the chemical composition: 8.9% protein, 45.8% protein, and the parts which we calculated out of 100, there are 92 parts of corn and 8 parts of soybean meal. Now, keeping in mind these values, we can get the protein available from corn. Here you see it is 8.9%. It means 8.9 gram protein is available if we feed 100 gram of corn to the animal. So simply you can say, okay, out of 100 we get 8.9 gram of protein. So 100 gram of corn will give 8.9 gram of protein. Then out of 92 parts, how much protein will be available? So that is 8.19. Similar for soybean meal, 45.8 is the percent of protein. So 100 parts will give 48.8 parts of protein. Now we have only 8 parts, so how much quantity of protein is available from 8 parts of soybean meal? So we can get by this way. Okay, out of 100, there is 45.8. So 45.8 divided by 100, then multiplied by the parts which we have calculated. Then the available protein from this stuff is 3.66. So 8.19 is the amount of protein available from 92 parts of corn, and 3.66 is the amount of protein available from 8 parts of soybean. So when you sum up, we get a value of 12. So 12 is our required amount. So this is about Pearson's Care method by using two feed cell. So now the question is what we should do for the other nutrients. So when you have these parts, then you can go for calculating the rest of the things, how much amount of energy, calcium, or other things they are available when we mix when we mix 92 parts of corn and 8 parts of soybean meal. That will give you the value. But again, that might not be according to the requirement of the animal. So this is the limitation of this Pearson. Okay, we cannot go for balancing each and every nutrient. For mineral contents like calcium, phosphorus, yes, you can add the deficient amount by using any supplemental material. Like for calcium, you can use limestone according to the deficiency. Uh, Similarly, for phosphorus, you can go for dicalcium phosphate. Uh, Basically, this technique is useful when someone is preparing a concentrate mixture, uh, and then he will prepare that concentrate mixture and will ask the farmer to use the grain available at his or her home for feeding to the animal. So, if we look at this example, okay, we have soybean meal, 8 parts. So if we have a packet of soybean meal with 8 parts, so we will recommend our farmers that they mix 92 parts of corn so that it can be provide 12% protein to their animal feed. So this can be practiced in case of making use of the feed stuff available with the farmers, particularly during the drought seasons or area where farmers they are unable to afford the high price concentrate mixture, so they can go for a part of a mix. They purchase a mixture from the market and they use their homegrown seed to be mixed with that concentrate, and then they go for feeding to the animal. So when we go for more than two feed stuff, then definitely we will have a little bit more calculations. We will have to do more calculation. So when we have more than two feed stuff, like in this example, we have corn, we have wheat, and we have soybean meal. So here is the amount of protein 8.9, 10, and 45.8. Now we have three feed stuffs. So when we have more than feed stuff, then uh, for Pearson's care, we can only use two feedstuffs. So one will be left that cannot be used through Pearson. So to make use of that feedstuff, we should make a uh, decision so that we can mix two feedstuff and that will be considered as a single feed. Likely here we can mix corn and wheat uh, but again, the question arises: okay, why we should go for mixing the grain? Why not we should go for mixing wheat and soybean meal? So if you look at this, we can decide it according to the availability of the feedstuff, according to the price, according to the protein value. So there are different choices, but generally, it is acceptable to mix all whatever the grain they are available into a single feed for the sake of calculations and for giving a concentrate mix to the farmer. Like in this example, we have the option of to mix corn and wheat, and we use a soybean meal as a second feedstuff. We can mix corn and soybean meal, and then we can use wheat as a second feedstuff. Then we can mix wheat and soybean meal, and we can use corn as a second feedstuff. So these are the three options, but again, uh, that will depend upon the situation. So in this case, we are going to mix grain and we keep the concentrate separate. The reason being, the reason being because we have to careful. Okay, the feed stuff which we are using independently, that should have either high or low CP value than the required. And similarly, the mix which we are preparing, either that should have a high or low, because this is the prerequisite that one feed stuff should have a high CP value than the required, and one should have a low CP value than the required. So in this case, we mix corn and wheat, and then we have a soybean meal. Then we will have to calculate the amount of protein available from feed stuff, feed mix one, that is corn and wheat. Then again, the question is, okay, how much quantity of corn and wheat they should be mixed together. For that, the very easy way is to decide upon the availability of the stuff. If we have more corn, then we can use more corn. If we have a more wheat, we can use more wheat. Or again, we can also consider the price or any other factor which is prevailing at that time. So in this example, we decided we have to use 40 parts of corn and 60 parts of wheat. So we have to calculate then the protein available from 40 parts of corn and 60 parts of wheat, so that we have a feed mix with known CP value. So corn contains 8.9% protein. So 8.9 means out of 100, we have 8.9 protein. So 8.9 divided by 100 multiplied by its part, as we did in the previous example for calculating for rechecking the protein available from the syrup. So out of this 40 parts, we get 3.5% protein. And when we use wheat, wheat contains 10% protein, so 10 divided by 100 multiplied by 60, we have 6 Cp from the wheat. Now, sum of these two values, 3.56 and 6, we have a total of 9.56% protein. It means if we mix 40 parts of corn and 60 parts of soybean, 60 parts of wheat, we will have a total of 9.56% protein coming from this feed mix. Now, by doing the same calculations as we did in the single feed stuff, so we put a feed mix on the top with 9.56% protein, and we put soybean meal here 45.8% protein, and did the calculation as we did in the previous example. Subtract diagonally, and then we get a answer in the form of 33.8 parts of feed mix and 2.44 parts of soybean meal. So the total of this is 36.24. It means out of this 36.24, 2.44 is the soybean share and 33.2 is the share of feed mix. So this total parts will give a 12% of the protein. But now we have to calculate the amount of individual feedstuff. The soybean is here 2.44, but what about this feed mix? So before going into this, we have to convert it on 100 basis. So feed mix 33.8 is the feed mix, and which divided by 36.4 is the total parts, multiplied by 100, we get a value of 93.26 for feed mix that contain corn and wheat. And for soybean, it's 6.73. So it means out of 100 parts, 6.73 is the share of soybean and 93.26 is the share of wheat plus corn. So now out of this 93.26, we have to calculate how much is the amount of wheat and how much is the amount of corn. So we mix this corn and wheat in a ratio of 40 parts of corn and 60 parts of wheat. So out of 100, there is a 40 parts of corn. Here we have a 93.26 parts. So 93.26 of parts of corn, they will be equal to 40 divided by 100 into 93.26, 37.304. It means out of 93.26, 37.304 is the part of the corn in that feed mix. And for wheat, we have a 60% share, so 60 divided by 100 into the total parts, 93.26, we get a value of 55.956. So this is the amount of wheat out of 100. So when we sum up this corn, wheat, and soybean meal value, we get a total of 100. So here we can recheck, okay, whether we are getting the required amount of protein. This is the chemical composition of protein for corn, then wheat, and soybean meal. Then we have a parts uh, which we have calculated for corn, wheat, and soybean meal. And by doing the same way, we can calculate, okay, out of 100, there is a 8.9 parts of protein. So out of 37, 3.04, we can get 3.3 parts of the protein. Similarly, for wheat, 5.6 parts, soybean meal, we get 3.08. So by mixing around 37.3 parts of corn, 55.9 parts of wheat, and 6.8 parts of soybean meal, we get a feed mix of the ration that contains 12% of the protein. So this is how we can do our calculations for Pearson's scale method.